Well, she was calling them terrorists, okay? That's the word we use more here, terrorists, okay? And it's such an oversimplification to talk about extremist terrorists without identifying grievances that make them terrorists. People are human beings. They don't become terrorists because they say, hey, it might be kind of fun to become a terrorist. They do it because they have grievances. Now, Darla was unwilling to countenance the fact that these terrorists might have legitimate grievances that need to be addressed. And that might be, just might be a better way than trying to shoot them all, okay? And that's a really important point, because as I've tried to I use what I think is a homey but rather illustrative analogy. You defeat terrorism the same way you defeat malaria. Everyone knows that you follow the mosquitoes and malaria, you find where the swamp is where they're breeding, and then you get sharpshooters and you try to shoot every mosquito that leaves the swamp, right? Well, not right. What you do is you drain the swamp. Now for terrorists, you follow the terrorists back to the swamp, and their swamp is unredressed grievances that come out of one-sided U.S. support for Israel, as Israel occupies Palestinian lands, keeps people in the equivalent of concentration camps for 3 generations. U.S. policy that supports cruel regimes like the Saudi regime, doesn't allow any rights to its people, and allows the Americans at one point in there to sully the sacred lands of Islam, and the other regimes that we propped up. I mean, look at Iran, for example. People say, why do the Iranians hate us? Well, people don't realize what we did in 1953 when they had a freely elected president named Mossadegh, and he made a mistake. He didn't realize that the oil underneath the sands of Iran was really belonged to the British and us, and so he nationalized that oil. I say that in jest, of course, but as soon as he nationalized the oil, President Eisenhower, mind you, and the British Prime Minister got together and said, let's have our intelligence agencies cause a kind of ferment in Tehran.
And there was also concern about where they go from the counties.
Yeah, that was always the specter, would they lean to the Soviets, but there was no reason to think that Mossadegh would do that. It was pure and simple oil. If you go back a century, it was when the British Navy decided to go to oil rather than what they had been using for energy, that this whole interest in oil in the Middle East really got started, and then of course people got to use this oil for a whole manner of other things. So it's really pretty simple, and what I'm saying is those grievances are really corrosive, and they're really long-lived in the minds of every Iranian young person knows what's happened back in '53. And of course we got Khomeini after that and so forth, and Khomeini was a terrible person, everybody thinks, but he was playing on this swamp of resentment. So unless we address those things, then we're just trying to shoot bald mosquitoes, and that doesn't work.